This is Jennifer, as always. Welcome back. So it has to be Friday, our documentary of the week. Now, I'm going to be doing another sort of gaming review, or documentary gaming review, just because I figured last week I did King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters. There is another one out there. I know there's several, actually, a few of these, but there's another one that's kind of similar to King of Kong, which is called Man vs. Snake, which is about the, pretty much the billion points record on Nibbler. Now, I know a lot of you guys might think, like, what the hell is Nibbler? Let me give you an idea of what the game Nibbler is. Now, regardless of if you know this game or not, chances are you've probably played some sort of incarnation of Nibbler. Probably what a lot of us kind of know of Nibbler, or like playing something similar to it, is I believe the game is called like Snake or Worm, most commonly found on old school cell phones. For those of you who are like me, who remember kind of like the older cell phones that were coming out, like just as the cell phone craze was really booming, that was kind of like one of the pre-installed games on most cell phones. Yeah, they actually had like pre-installed games, like 2 or 3 games usually, typically at most. Most of the time, Snake was one of those games, and like I said, that's kind of like the equivalent of Nibbler. So yeah, so that's kind of like what Nibbler is. And like I said, this is kind of like sort of like King of Kong, where, you know, they're trying to break like the Donkey Kong world record and everything. This is very much similar, except for this one, this game in particular is very special because the cabinets actually were able to go to 1 billion points. Not 1,000,000, but 1 billion points, which is pretty big, you know. I mean, now I feel like that's so like, what? Oh my god, like 1 billion's nothing. 1 billion points is nothing. But no, this is actually just a fantastic little one. You know, pretty entertaining. Although I feel like Fistful of Quarters has a little more drama. This one is slightly less dramatic, but yeah. But here are our characters, basically, or our people who are trying to do like this kind of back and forth like billion point thing, and then even going further of trying to break like the billion point thing by going over 1 billion points and everything. So, but the 2 main guys that it kind of focuses on is a gentleman called Tim McVeigh. No, not that Tim McVeigh who blew up the buildings back in the mid-90s and everything. For those of you who remember, I certainly remember that because I was like, I think in 5th grade when that happened. I was like, whoa! Yeah, because when I first saw this documentary, I was like, wait, that's Tim McVeigh? The one who liked the bombings? Like, what? Like, what? That's so random, it makes sense. But no, a totally different guy. And then the other gentleman that is kind of also doing this billion point thing is Dwayne Richards. There is a 3rd person, this sort of like, I think he's from France. I can't remember his name. But what, like, back in like 84 or something, I think he had broken, kind of like unofficially, just because there was no sort of like record or like pictures or anything, or like verified witnesses at the time. So he was always kind of like, yeah, he was kind of like credited for sort of breaking it, but never officially, like in Twin Galaxies or Guinness World Book of Records and stuff. Like, so he was never officially like acknowledged, but by the end of the film, he did kind of get his own little like acknowledgement and everything. He was like, you know, that's kind of all I wanted. So I think that was kind of cool for his, for like at least his record to at least acknowledge it to an extent. Even though there weren't any witnesses, I thought it was pretty cool that they did that from Twin Galaxies. But yeah, so like I said, main story though, the main documentary is following this gentleman, Tim McVeigh, and this other guy, Dwayne Richards. And as a lot of you can kind of expect, yes, we have our good old friend Billy Mitchell in this one. Although I have to say, I can tolerate Billy Mitchell a little more in this one than I could King of Kong, maybe because it's not like his world record or anything, so he's not having to like put on his little Mitchell mask and like be the asshole that he is. But whatever. But you do see a little bit of a different side of Billy Mitchell in this because he is, I guess, friends with Tim McVeigh and everything. And there were a couple of times where he was trying to like do different, do the record a couple of times, and he would call, Tim and be like, "Hey, come on, you got this." Just try to be like motivate him and like really help him out. So like to see Billy Mitchell kind of like that and being, very supportive, because I know he was kind of saying that in the King of Kong documentary, where he likes to really kind of like help people and promote their like, passion for breaking different records on different games and everything. I thought that was pretty awesome. But like I said, I feel just kind of like at the same time, because it's, Nibbler, and he really has no interest in ever breaking any sort of record in Nibbler. He was kind of like, I don't really care about this game, go ahead, go for it. Although maybe now Billy Mitchell will try and go for Nibbler now. I don't know, I'm just saying, see if he can go for 2 billion. Whatever, he would. We'll see it one day. Whatever. So yeah, he's trying to do it and everything. And there's kind of like a little bit of a friendly competition between Tim and this gentleman, Dwayne and everything. Dwayne Richards. Here's the thing though, there's something, especially this time around, and I don't know if it's because I just watched King of Kong within the last couple of weeks, so I still kind of have that like Billy Mitchell, like, oh, like God, I can't stand him. This Dwayne guy though, there's something just very kind of annoying and very like sort of pompous about him. And here's the thing too, because they were even saying, talking about him in this documentary, how like even growing up, like, he wasn't really like a gamer, like a quintessential like gamer or anything, but he's someone who can kind of like see something or watch someone do something, or watch someone play a game for a little bit and kind of just sort of get the hang of it and kind of like just going in like get like a really good high score and stuff. So I was kind of like, he's kind of like a natural genius in that sense, which I think is pretty cool, because you got someone who is always working their ass off and just, who, never really had seen this game before, but was kind of interested in everything, and it was just like, I want to work my butt off to get it. And then you got the other guy who's just like, who's gifted in a sense, where he could kind of see it, and boom. So, and some of the things though, like some of his interviews and stuff, like I said, he just seems so like annoying. Like he's one of those people that if I saw walking down the street, I would just instantly like would want to just punch him in the face just because he annoys me. But that's just me though. But I do kind of give him, like I said, give him credit for, at least in this one between him and Tim McVeigh, it's sort of like a little friendly competition of like, hey, let's kind of just keep like motivating each other to like break the records and everything. And there is even a point where there's a little bit of questioning on Dwayne's high score, like his billion plus new record and everything. And this is kind of what I was talking about for King of Kong, because there was some suspicion about like Billy Mitchell's cabinet and stuff, and even Weeby's cabinet, that it's like, might have been like worked on just enough where it like the screen is like a half a second faster. And like if you're like me, who's like, you play games but you're not like a gamer and you're all all this stuff and like hacking stuff and all that, like they actually in this kind of like show split screen between Tim McVeigh's cabinet and Dwayne Richards' cabinet from one of their like meets where they were trying to, or their competition of trying to get like the billion points or whatever, break the billion point. And they do it side by side, and you could see that Dwayne is like just a little bit faster, like the next screen comes on much quicker, while Tim's like literally like side by side, same start point and everything, and it's like Dwayne's is just a little bit faster, while like I said, Tim, it's like still kind of finishing up the end scene on the previous stage and stuff. So little things like that. There's a little bit of controversy on that and everything. Dwayne's kind of like, hey, no, I didn't do anything, but he kind of eventually was just like, you know what? like there is, you know, like I don't want to have like a questionable score. I'm gonna withdraw the score or whatever. I'll try again on like you know, more accurate machine and everything. So just like things like that where he's like, you know, being respectful and everything. He's like, you know, I don't want, you know, sort of like a score that has like a little bit of an asterisk next to it of like, yeah, he may have the record, but there's some questions about it. So I thought, you know what, awesome for him for doing that. So yeah, just kind of watching this, you know, back and forth, and I kind of like this. Like I said, it's a little more like it's not as like overly abundantly dramatic like King of Kong, but it is kind of like a nice little like follow up to see like other people interested in other games and stuff, especially something like Nibbler, which a lot of people may not be aware of, especially now because you know it's like no one's remaking like Nibbler or anything. It's not like Mario or anything or even Pac-Man. Not a lot of people are aware of this game. But like I said, most of us have played some sort of form of this game. But no, definitely check this one out. It's a pretty decent one. Like I said, even if you're not like a big gamer like myself, it's pretty interesting. And I think it's just so awesome to see people who have that drive and passion to break these records. Because, like, yeah, it might be Nibbler, or it might be Pac-Man, or it might be King of Kong, or Donkey Kong. And you think, like, okay, what? Like 10 minutes? Like, no. Like, some of these games people play for like days straight, nonstop, just to like get these high scores. So I definitely applaud people who do this. Any sort of like gamer who does like that type of stuff, like competitive gaming. Like hats off to you guys. But let me know what you guys think of this documentary. Till next time, you guys, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.